What is a good death, and what is our current culture, especially in healthcare practice, to try at any cost to keep someone alive, even when we know that this is the end of their lifespan? There's, on the one hand, notion, don't do harm, try to be as helpful as possible. And unfortunately, in healthcare practice, we often, at any cost, try to sustain a person's life, even when we know that different systems in their body are beginning to break down. And it's almost grasping at a notion that if I don't preserve with full force this person's life, then I am a failure. So there's a misconception about perhaps what's the role of the healthcare provider and what does the recipient really need at this point. And it also suggests what is a good life, because we know that, for example, there's really interesting research showing that physicians, medical doctors, die at home at a much higher rate than non-medically trained professionals who die in the hospital. And we know the hospital setting is really not the place you want to die. You're poked, you prod, you're in tubes, etc. It's very poor quality. And then thinking about what is a noble death? What is death with dignity? So if we really think that we can prepare the mind to be in a state of pure acceptance and awareness and curiosity about the death process, then maybe what a good death could be is where a person is in a place where they are at ease, comfortable as much as possible, in the place, the physical context where they choose, so they have agency, where if that person has trained the mind through certain practices or certain ways of thinking, she or he can engage in that, in this very important transition point, without a lot of interruptions. So, for example, I've asked my family members, I don't want a whole range of people crying around me. What I want is, if possible, to be still and have the space to allow my mind to observe and to notice. And then from the side of the people who remain alive, right, which is to give your full blessings, to allow this person to transition and to actually say, great, with my full love and care, I want you to move through this part of the lifespan without me interfering or obstructing. Or from a Buddhist perspective, if a person has trained their mind, then one of the greatest gifts is to have the opportunity to use that training in this key moment, right? So, you can train that through, practicing dying when you're going from being awake to sleeping, or coming out of sleep into waking, or do training. But a decent Buddhist death would be to be in a place, especially if you're healthy enough in mind, your body might be deteriorating, where you can really drop into a sense of deep compassion for all living beings, billions of human beings, and even uncountable number of non-human animals have gone through exactly what I'm going through right this moment, and will in the future. Oh, I'm not the only one. Oh, this is a very normal, interesting moment. So curiosity, connection with all other beings, interdependence, and perhaps if you have a teacher or a source of inspiration or quality that inspires you, you bring that to mind. And then, if possible, you sit and hold that quality in your mind